Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle, and this is NBA Weekly, the show where once a week I talk about things that have happened previously in the association and things I'm looking forward to in the upcoming games. So, first we're going to start with some Eastern Conference news. The Atlanta Hawks became the first team in the NBA to clinch a playoff berth, and they are currently on a 6-game winning streak. They just beat the Cavs, and they're one win away from 50 on the season. And then let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. When it rains, it pours. I mean, in a period of 7 days, they lost Todd Gibson, Derrick Rose, and now Jimmy Butler. He hurt his hand. He's expected to miss 3 to 6 weeks. But they aren't struggling, and in fact, they are currently second place in the Eastern Conference, the number 2 seed. I don't know what it is about these Bulls. First, Tom Thibodeau and his staff, they do a great job finding talent. It's hard to explain it, the phenomena, but basically it seems like when their stars go out, they fight just a little bit harder, and for some reason they just find more ways to win that way. It just looks to me like they try harder when there's less expected of them. And then you've also got, the Hornets, the Pacers. Both of these teams have won their last 4 games. The Hornets are now in 8th place, so they're back in the playoffs. But the Pacers only half a game behind them right now. And the Brooklyn Nets, they were knocked from 8th place all the way down to 10th. The Eastern Conference playoff race is starting to get interesting. And then in the Western Conference, you've got Westbrook. He broke his cheekbone. He had to miss a couple games, something, whatever. But then he came back and immediately got his 4th straight triple-double. 4 consecutive triple-doubles, leading the Thunder to an overtime victory. The last person to have 4 consecutive triple-doubles was Michael Jordan, who actually had 7 consecutive back in the 88-89 season. And just out of curiosity, does anyone know if teammates have ever gotten MVP in consecutive seasons? Because Westbrook is starting to make a case. Either way, he did not get his 5th straight triple-double, but he did grab a 3rd straight 40-point game. So he's just balling out right now. You've also got the T-Wolves, who are the team that are starting to look better. It's too little too late. They're not going to make any real impact. But they could potentially play spoiler to a few teams looking to climb up in the Western Conference playoff race. I mean, they added 2 veterans, Kevin Garnett and Gary Neal. Ricky Rubio healthy again, and he had a triple-double on Monday against the Clippers. But they ended up giving that game away because they went the final 10 minutes of the game without scoring a single basket. That's all. Basically, in the entire 4th quarter, they didn't make any field goals. And then also Tim Duncan, he has been in the NBA for 17 seasons now, and for the 17th time in his career, he's had over 100 blocks in a season. So every year of his career, he's had at least 100 blocks. No other player has done that. 17 years, 100 blocks in each of those. That's incredible. That's amazing. Also, well, first, let's talk about Wilt and Bill Russell, though. They didn't count blocks back in their days. I can't even imagine the crazy numbers those guys would have put up. But whatever. Also wanted to mention, Tim Duncan now has more career blocks than Patrick Ewing, and he moves into 6th place on the all-time list. And the guy in front of him at number 5, former teammate David Robinson. Go Spurs, go. And we'll wrap up some of last week's biggest stories. James Harden had a triple-double on Friday. Nuggets fired their head coach, Brian Shaw, a few days ago. Wesley Matthews ruptured his Achilles tendon. He is done for the season. This is a serious blow for a team that's in the top half of the Western Conference playoffs. And I don't know if they're going to be able to stay up there because, LaMarcus is still playing through an injured hand. One bad hit, one bad fall there, that could still really hurt them. I don't want to jinx it or anything. I'm just saying they're not secure. And Wes Matthews is arguably the 3rd or 4th best player on that roster. So that, this is something that hurts them. And also, last but not least, Ray Allen says he's not going to play this year. He's been a free agent all season, and I don't know, I guess he's gotten offers but been weighing his options. He's officially saying he's not going to play this year, but he'll consider returning next year. Here's what I have to say, though. Next year, Ray is going to be 40, And after having an entire season without playing, to come back at age 40 and try to join a team and be a major contributor for the kind of money that you'd expect to give a veteran of his caliber with his resume, I say it might be better for you to just call it up, call it a career, hang it up right now. You've already got a Hall of Fame resume. No one's going to think any less of you if you just call it quits right now. But if you try to hang on for 2 or 3 more years before and then you basically have to be forced out of the league because you can't find a job, people might start to think a little bit less of you. I say go out on top because before you made this announcement, people pretty much already assumed you had already retired anyways. So those are my opinions on that matter. Now, on to the games in the coming week. On Saturday, you've got the Grizzlies at the Pelicans. Pelicans playing possibly their best basketball of the year right now. So far, they've split their meetings this season with the home team winning each time. And then you've also got the Wizards at the Bucks. Washington has been sliding, and the Bucks have a chance to close some ground, possibly rise up in the standings. But so far, Washington has managed to win all the head-to-head matchups, and they can try to finish the series with a clean sweep on the season. Then on Sunday, you've got 2 great matchups, both of them on ABC. You've got Bulls at Spurs, 2 teams that were picked to meet in the finals, are facing off for the last time in the regular season. And the Bulls, they dominated their first matchup, but now the tables have turned. The Bulls are banged up while the Spurs are healthy and they found their rhythm. And also you've got the Clippers at the Warriors. The rivalry continues. They square off for the 3rd time this season. So far, it's been the home team that's gotten the victory in each matchup. Then on Monday, you've got Wizards at Hornets, and since adding Mo Williams to their roster, the Hornets have just gotten back to form. They're in the playoffs now, and they have a chance to win the season series with the victory here. You've also got the Bulls at Grizzlies, 2 teams at the top of their division, 2nd place in each conference, Gasol versus Gasol. This should be a very gritty, grinded out type of game. That's what both of these teams are built for. That one's going to be fun. Then you've also got Pelicans at Bucks, which I'm picking just because you've got so many of the league's most talented young players. And who knows, depending on what they do with their roster going forward, 5 years from now, this could be a finals matchup. Then on Tuesday, you've got the Cavs at the Mavs. Not only 2 really great teams, but a lot of great individual matchups. The whole game within the game. So that one's going to be fun to look at. You've also got the Raptors at the Spurs. The Raptors have had their struggles lately, but the Spurs are one of the few teams that they managed to beat in the past month. And you've also got the Wednesday night Kings at Hornets, mostly just because Big Al versus Cousins. I want to see that big man battle down low. You've got Clippers at Thunder, their final regular season matchup. The season series is on the line, and so far the home team has won each time. You've got Rockets at Blazers. Without one of their key players, can the Blazers keep on rolling as strongly as they have been recently? Especially since these teams are right now 3rd and 4th in the league. The winner of this game gets the season series. That could be crucial down the line. Just matchups. Sometimes in the playoffs, you end up getting matched up against a team that you're just not good against. So seeding can end up being very important here. Then on Thursday, you've got the Grizzlies at the Wizards. Their first matchup this year. One team firmly entrenched in that number 2 seed. And then you've got the Wizards. Not too long ago, they were in that battle for the 2nd seed. Now they're in 6th, and they're trying to get their shit together and become a dangerous team against somebody worth fearing a little bit. And then you've got the Cavs at the Spurs. They played each other very early in the season, way back in November. The Spurs won by only 2 points. Right now, they're playing the best basketball that they've ever had. Cavs, arguably one of the best teams in the league right now. Now that they've made some of these extra additions, they seem to have their chemistry down right. Even though LeBron has struggled the last couple of games, it's going to be a fun matchup, no matter how you slice it. Friday night, to wrap it all up, you've got the Bulls at the Hornets. So far, these teams have split their meetings, with the away team winning each game. You've got the Heat at the Raptors. The Heat, they had a lot of players that were kind of, missing time today, so I'm not sure what their roster is going to look like on this day. But hopefully they'll be at full force, because while Toronto has been sliding recently, the Heat, with the development of Whiteside, the addition of Dragic, even they're able to survive the loss of Bosh, and honestly, they look even scarier than they did before. So they've got a great roster, and it's going to be a good matchup. And then last but not least, you've got Clippers at Mavs. These teams only separated by half a game right now, and I'm saying that right now it's only the second quarter right now. Dallas is playing a game, so it could be a bigger gap, could be a shorter gap, because this game's being played on Friday, so that doesn't even... whatever. So, they're only separated by half a game. The Clippers have a chance to sweep the season series. Even if the Mavs win, Clippers still already have won the season series, so they own that tiebreaker. And it'll be a fun one to watch, so check that out if you can. And that's it for this edition of The Fan Perspective. Tune in next week for another all-new episode. But until then, this has been The Fan Perspective. I'm your host, Nathan Lyle. Have a great week.